if we had a greater understanding of life, and how about even a greater understanding of God? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Because when we understand life, it really helps us understand God. And when we understand God, it really helps us understand life. For we understand this wonderful correlation of life and God and life within us, and we begin to awaken to this, there is a wonderful aha, a truth that resonates within our lives. So today, I'd like to begin this time that we share together of learning and of instruction, of lessons within our spiritual life with this one key thought for you. The life within is God. The life within is God. And whatever is true of God is true for your life. Whatever is true of God is true for your life. Since your life and the life of God are not two, but they're one. This is the strength of a spiritual understanding. This is the pathway of awakening for us when we understand there is not two, there is one. When we understand that the life within us is God, and whatever is true of God is true for our life. Think about this. God is this life force, this wonderful energy, this intelligence, this love. There's so much more that God is, and everything that is true of God is true for you. Wow, pretty amazing, isn't it? We think of the very power of God. We call God Almighty. We think of the very wisdom of God, all-knowing. We think of the very love of God, ever-present, consistent, unconditional. When we think of all of that, whatever is true for God is true for you. Wow, we have been blessed with immense gifts then. We have been blessed with so much within this life. And when we realize, wait a minute, I have to stop and think, whatever is true of God is true for me, that's pretty fabulous, isn't it? When we think about that. That same power, that which is of God, flows in and through our life and is available for each and every one of us. So the question is, what will we do with this? What will we do with all that has been given to us? And you may say, I don't know, I don't really understand it all, because I don't really know what has been given, and I don't really understand it to its fullest. That's why it's so crucial that we begin to start to contemplate. All that is of God is in you. All that is of God is for you. All that is of God is around you. All that is of God is at work right now on your behalf. There is not a separation. There's not a division. There's not a gap. And what we find in today's spirituality and religion quite often is so many people offering what I call an homage to this separation, a celebration or recognition of celebration. That everything is so keenly separated. They're thinking about a God out there and never awakening to this God within our hearts and our lives. We marvel at science and its discoveries of the human body and its capabilities and the intelligence of the very cell. Science is describing it constantly, saying there is a wisdom, there is an insight, there's an intelligence within the cell. Aren't you so grateful for the fact that the body knows how to heal itself every time you have that paper cut? You have that little injury in your life, the body knows how to heal itself. And it's going on in this healing process. If we understand, wait a minute, there's some intelligence in the cells of my body. There's some wisdom right here. There's a wonderful ability to do the miraculous right within me, innately within me. Beautiful example of the divine power of God that's at work within us. When we understand life and we understand God, we understand all that is of God is available for us. So what are you doing with what has been given to you? What are you doing with all that power? What are you doing with all that insight? What are you doing with all that wisdom? Quite often we say, wait, I don't know if I have all that power. I don't know if I have all that wisdom. I don't know if I'm really all that, amazing. And then we're like, whoa, wait. Have you forgotten who you are? That this divine power and presence is in you? There's a simple story from the book of the book of Luke, that is really an ancient truth for us that describes exactly this very spiritual lesson for our life that asks the question, what are you doing with what has been given? It's a story of a wealthy man who was going out of town, and so he gave to 3 different servants some money to work with, called talents in those days, some gifts And he said, work with this. To the first one, he gave more, and to the second one, a little bit less, and to the third one, even less. And said, invest, work with these things, use these gifts that have been given, and what will you do with them to multiply them or make them even better? And so what happens is he went on a journey, and when he came back, he looked to each one of these servants to say, what have you done with what has been given? The first one had multiplied it. Wow, how amazing. The second one multiplied it. But the third one had this sort of feeling that says, well, wait. I just got in fear. I buried it. I was kind of afraid, and I didn't invest it. I didn't really use it. And so consequently, here is just what was given to me, I give back. It's a beautiful lesson of our own spiritual life. The power of God has blessed you with so many tools, so many gifts, so many abilities. What will you do with them? Did you know that you have access to infinite wisdom in the journey of your life? Infinite wisdom is there as we call upon God to show us the way, the insights, the guidance, and we just open ourselves to really hearing the voice of God. Now, that voice is just your voice. It's that inner consciousness within you. There's not this thundering, booming voice or this light, soft voice or whatever it may be that you think God may have as an outside. God is within. So that voice is within, offering you the insight and the wisdom to say, wait a minute, I really want to listen and be in tune, to be still and to know. That wisdom is there. There's gifts of great power and strength within you through your faith and through your believing. Not believing in the faith of God, but believing in God, in essence, that really that which God is and at work within your life. Believing in that. It's so often people have had the believing in Jesus, or is it believing in the faith of Jesus that he demonstrated for each and every one of us? That's our calling in our life. To believe in that essence and allow that power to flow through our lives. You see, what happened then is that this man who was very frightened by his master, the servant buried the talent and said, my concept of you is that you are very, a man to be feared. You are a man who is very cruel and demanding, and that's my concept of you. Yet you find that for the others who had multiplied their talents, the master was very generous and blessed them and said, here, come into the joy of prosperity and blessing. Because of what you've done with what has been given to you, there is even more for you. When we realize this, sometimes it's based on our concept of God, that we're afraid of God. We're frightened by God. We feel separate from God. We feel removed from God. So consequently, we don't really acknowledge all that God has given us, all the talents, all the skills, all the capability, all the power, all the awareness that is innately within us. It's already there. It's already there. What will you do with it? That's the big question. So when we realize what we're doing, that we've been given these things, we may act and live out our lives totally differently. We use what we have, and when we do, we'll have even more. So did you ever stop to say, today I'm going to use the wisdom of God. I'm going to be still. I'm going to listen. I'm going to use that wisdom, knowing that more will come. I'm going to today use the love of God. I'm going to share the love of God. I'm going to demonstrate the love of God, knowing that more will come. I have been given this power to believe for the miraculous, and I'm going to claim the miraculous at work. And as I do so, more will come. You see, this is the ancient truth that's been illustrated through this simple story in the scriptures, that exactly calling us to be exactly in awareness of consciousness of what is available for us, that we have been given so much in life and blessed with so much. This life within you, it unfolds through your experiences. That's right. Using what you've been given, what happens is you begin to gather more knowledge, and every day you are experiencing, you're becoming more and more alert, more and more aware of the divine presence in this wonderful journey. You're traveling down this journey and you're experiencing more and more and more, and this is this wonderful evolution that you're going through. You see, the understanding of God is an evolution. It's a time of growing, expanding, development within your mind. And it comes through your everyday experiences. So what happens is as you're using the gifts that God has given you, you're having these wonderful God experiences. And as you're doing those things of using these talents and gifts and abilities of the divine within you, you're evolving more. You're expanding. You're growing, you're maturing, you're becoming much more than what you were yesterday. You're evolving, you're enlarging the wonderful awareness and this presence of the soul within you. It is growing within you, and every day is this opportunity to double what God has given to you, to draw it out. Oh, I love that. Think about it. That the wonderful experiences you're going through on a day-to-day journey are drawing something out of you. That's right. It's already in you, so it's drawing it out of you. It's not, you're not grabbing it from some other way. Let me grab some patience, or let me try to find some grace, or let me try to find some love or compassion. Let me try to find this wonderful power of God. It's already in you. It's already there. And so it's essential that you have these experiences that will draw it out and give you the opportunity to express it. And within that, you begin to grow and you begin to mature and become something even more so than what you are. So when we understand that what's being drawn out, we have to stop and think how amazing it is within. That something is being drawn out, love is being drawn out, that truth and beauty, harmony and wholeness are coming out of our lives. When we pause and we think, every experience is a chance for me to demonstrate the love of God. Every experience is an opportunity for me to demonstrate the divinity of God, the glory of God, the goodness of God. Every imperfection from which we suffer in our life, everything that we're struggling from, comes from our ignorance of this very truth. How many of you were faced with a test maybe in junior high or high school, and you didn't study for it, and you just try to bluff your way through it? Multiple choice, always choose A. Hopefully I'll be lucky with that. True or false, I'm going to go with true on everything and kind of fluff my way through this test. I just don't know what I'm doing, and so I'm going to fake it and try to make it, and I make things up as I go along the way. You've been there, and because you weren't prepared for the test, we've done that. And that's kind of an illustration of so many of us in our life. We don't realize. And in our ignorance, we are living this life of challenge and suffering through it rather than living our life of challenge and growing through it, maturing through it, demonstrating the goodness of God in each and every scenario. It's kind of like we haven't studied it. We haven't really taken time to really learn or taken time to really say, wait a minute. That's why Scripture invites us. The most essential thing we can do in our life is to seek wisdom, to study, to know this journey of life and how to live it to its fullest. In many homes, there's like this little girl who said to her mother and said, I see that book on the mantle, and it's never opened. Mother, whose book is that? Oh, mother said, well, why, honey, don't you know? That's God's book. God's book. Don't you think we ought to give it back to him? Because no one over here reads it. And that's kind of the journey of our life. Have we studied to learn, to really understand that the power and presence of God is already there within us for us to use? That there are these wonderful spiritual laws, these promises of God, that they show us how God works and how life is meant to be lived. Know them. Know them. Because the ignorance of our law, of these wonderful spiritual law and promises, excuses no one. The law is working constantly, even if we don't understand it. The law of sowing and reaping, a simple one for us to understand. But yet, even if we don't comprehend, what did I sow today? I'm reaping it. Ooh, did I like what I'm reaping? I was sowing fear. I was sowing doubt. I was sowing anger. I was sowing frustration. I was sowing impatience. Why am I reaping all this suffering and challenge? Because the spiritual law is at work. The God within you then is this wonderful sense of enabling us that power, those spiritual laws to be utilized, to be put to work within our life for our success, for our highest and best. For the God within us is a God of oneness, that we are truly one. And when we understand that, we understand the life within us, the very God force within us, and this power and presence within us. There's a story of a little wave. It's a child's story. A little wave saying, one day, I want to be in the ocean. One day, I want to be that which is a force for good. I want to push the ships into the shore, into the harbor. I want to be the ocean one day. And the wave kept saying, I want to, I want to, I want to. I want to be. And one of the other waves said, honey, you are. You are the ocean. You are the wave of the ocean. Do you not see who you are? It's time for you not to say, I want to be, but that I am. That childhood story just tells us the very same principle for our life. We want to be God. We would like to be the force of God. We would like to be that which ushers in healing and that which manifests miraculous. We would like to be all that. Oh, but you are. You are the divine. You are part of the divine. You are the spark of the divine. You are the essence of God within you, at work within you. So it's time for you to begin to sing, I am, as we sang today. It's time for you to claim, I am. It's time for you to realize you are the revelation of God. You see, there's a big difference. Do we believe that God is outside of us, or do we believe that God is within us? A lot of people say, well, that's kind of crazy, kind of woogie and strange that you're thinking about going in because we're just physical beings. But wait a minute. We realize we're spiritual beings. That's what we are. Spiritual beings having a physical experience. We're not physical beings trying to have a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience. And that spiritual being is this essence of the divinity within us. We are part of the ocean, shall we say, as the little wave. We are part of that revelation of God. So when we shift our thinking and our understanding to know who we truly are as spiritual beings, we understand the power of, yes, I must go within my consciousness, within my thoughts. I must go within and discover it is there that the sweet Spirit of God is speaking to me, or ever relieving or releasing something of power and presence within me. For if God is outside of you, how are you going to reach this God? For many, well, God is somewhere in the heavens. How many miles? Gazillion miles? 1,000 miles? 1,000,000 miles? On another planet, in another galaxy? How are you reaching that God? You see how we understand that if we understand that if this belief is not part of you, that you understand that God is part of you, then you are separated. And how can you hope to unite with things that are so different from you? That God is out there, and how do I hope to unite it? Well, wait a minute, you're already united. Oh, you're one. You're created in the image and likeness of the divine. So we understand this. We understand that there is no need for us to have any kind of reunion with God because God has never left. How many of you have gone to your high school reunion? You've gone to your high school reunion and you hope to see people that you've left, right? You were in high school. Some of us 20 years, 30, some of us 40 years ago, whatever it may be. Now we're so excited. I haven't seen these people for all these years, and let's go back and have a reunion with that which we've left. Now, there's a lot of people think that you need to have a reunion with God. But wait a minute. God's never left. God is that divinity within you. God is that life force within you. Cannot be separated from you. Nothing can separate us from the very essence of God, the scripture says. So is there a need for you to have a happy reunion if he's never left? So when we understand that, how can God leave us? For God is the very life force within us, and the gifts of God are within you. They are you. This is who you are, and this is how you live life. For you are this spark of the divine, revelation of God. God has never left. It is just our awareness, our consciousness. And we think, oh, I didn't know. I guess I need to awaken to this wonderful truth. This God is already in your thoughts and your actions, in every moment, in every plan, every purpose in this situation. And when we're not aware of this, doesn't mean that God has left. God is never leaving nor forsaking. In this ignorance, then, what happens for us, we create some sort of bondage for our life. We create all kinds of challenges. It's amazing how we create our own bondage. That's what's holding us back. This bondage is that we are using the very freedoms given to us in a limited way. That's what it is. So we've gotten freedom to believe, but we believe in a limited way. We We've got freedom to trust, but we trust in a small way. We've got freedom to claim amazing things, and we claim small things. We use it all in a very limited way. And we understand that we're never really bound, but you are really just restricting things is what we're doing. We're restricting them, holding them back from the highest and best. And there's not restriction in this promise or not restriction in God. God is not withholding anything. It's just simply us in our consciousness that we are thinking small and we are restricting and we are holding back. And it's in our ignorance of not understanding that there's goodness for us innately within. It's there for us to use. That's right. The gifts of God are in you. We sang that. I am. The gifts of God are there, and they're there for us to use, for you are divinely created in that way. There was a woman who was very frustrated, and she was constantly trying to get up, and she said, I got to get up and change the channel on my television. I have to get up to turn the TV off. I have to get up to change the volume all the time and adjust everything. It's just like craziness. And I said, do you have a remote? A remote? Well, what's that? Well, it's got a rectangular thing. It's dark brown and black. I'm explaining it has buttons on it. Oh, yeah, I've got one. Yes, I have a remote. Well, do you use it? Yes, I use it. Of course I use it. It's perfect. I put it under my plant stand to level out my plants so it works out just perfectly. Yes, I love the remote. I use it. Well, you can understand how frustrating life can be when you use things improperly. You know, you don't know what you have. And even what you think you have, you're using it improperly. So it is in our spiritual life that we don't understand these wonderful promises of God that says, I will never leave you nor forsake you, but we think God has forsaken us. We're not using that promise. God's promise that says all things are possible when you trust and believe, but we're not using that promise. God says, this wonderful essence of the power of God is there to heal and to manifest and to prosper, to allow us to live in abundance and prosperity, but we're not using that properly. And that's our challenge in life. Sometimes in our incorrect use, we create our own limitations in life. She had the remote. She could have used it. Made her life a whole lot easier. But the incorrect uses, she put it under the plant stand to level the plant out. Now, when we understand this, that there's this journey of life, that our limitations are really only imaginary. They really are. It's kind of like the line on the horizon. You look out on the horizon and there's this line, right? Where the sky and the earth meet. And you're like, I'm going to go to that line. But the closer you get to that line, what happens? It disappears. And then you want to go to the next. Oh, wait a minute, I'm going to go a little further and see that line. No, it disappears. And the line keeps going away, and you're wondering, where's that line? It's kind of imaginary. And so it is when we look at our limitations in God. We think, I can't. It's not possible. My prosperity is not there. I don't have that. Healing's not there for mine. I would love to see it. But you see what happens in our life. We've place limitations on ourselves with our misuse of the divine promises of God within us. So if you can challenge limitations and change them into being unlimited possibilities, then let me encourage you to do this, because limitations you can change. Limitations you can change. They're not a thing. They're not a solid thing in your life. There isn't something that says, this is a solid, firm limitation. You can change anything, right? Any kind of limitation. We can change it, because the choice is ours. So if we can change our limitations to make them unlimited possibilities, why not do that? Why not start using our imagination, dreaming some dreams of the power of God at work within us, through us, around us? What if we began to use this divine presence, this wonderful presence and power that's flowing through your body right now that is so smart and so intelligent, it's healing you right now. It's pumping blood right now. It's helping your consciousness and your thoughts move. It's all this wonderful power and presence. How about we use that and we put it to work for ourselves? We use the power of the Almighty and the wisdom of the ages, and we begin to enlarge our experiences. Wow. What if we said today, I want to evolve. I want to be better. I want to be bigger. I want to be smarter. I want to be healthier. I want to be a more blessing. I want to be a bigger light. I want to share more. Wow, we could expand the possibilities if we just began to change the limitation in our thinking about it and begin to use the remote, use the principle, use it properly, use these wonderful laws that are there for us of the Spirit of God. So today, I began with this thought, and I end with the same thought. This is the key that helps us understand life and understand God. The life within us is God. Whatever is true of God is true of your life. Since your life and the life of God are not two, but are one. Let's be God. That's right. The revelation, the very presence, the love, the light. We can do it. We can be it when we understand this truth. Amen. Wow, we've got so much ahead of us. Possibilities unfold constantly for us. We're in the midst of amazing things. Do you believe it? As you believe, so you receive. So we're in the midst of amazing things. We're receiving amazing things. Let's demonstrate that we believe that through our giving today. As you have the opportunity to share in your gifts, let's be a demonstration of that very belief. For that, our actions are the greatest expression of what we believe. We say that every Sunday. And for those of you joining us through Facebook, there are opportunities for you to share your gifts as well. For you to be a blessing. For you to give of that which you have been blessed with in a demonstration of your belief in a God of abundance. You'll find those giving opportunities on our screen. God bless you as our ushers come to share these cans. Amen. What a wonderful world. What a wonderful opportunity for us to be just that which we've been called and created to be, the light. The wave in the ocean, that's who we are. We are, and we claim the I am. With that, let us proclaim this wonderful truth in a closing chorus. Yes, there's peace on earth. And yes, peace is in me. I am peace. Peace is not something I'm searching for. I found it within. It begins in me.
Yes, there
is peace on earth, and yes, it begins in me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as my center, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, yes, this is my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins in me. Let's pray together. This we know deep within our hearts, that the power and presence of God is innately within us, never leaving nor forsaking us. There is no need for reunion, for God has always been with us. It's the awakening of this truth. We've never been lost. God has not forsaken us in any way, but we've always been held within that divine presence, for it is our very essence. And that which we proclaim right now in that peace, love, joy, they all begin within us, for they are the essence of the divine. And in this moment, we claim for each and every one who is struggling with this truth, who is contemplating, how does this work within my life? I want to understand God. I want to understand life. That they awaken that that which is true of God is true for them. Goodness, grace, peace, joy, happiness, contentment, prosperity. All the wonderful blessings and gifts have been given to us for us to use. And now we proclaim that we will use them wisely. We will use them wisely in ways that they become effective and they are working for our greatest good. With now a great appreciation, we express this change, this transformation, for limitations no more, but we see our possibilities. Those limitations are simply illusions. But now we find that in God, all things are possible, and that is our reality. We release this now as we express this in gratitude, knowing it is so, as together we say, and so it is. So take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins in me.
Isn't it wonderful to know that we have unlimited potential and possibilities that resides within us, and the God who created this universe and universes that we can't even begin to imagine, and has given us the power to go out and distribute love and light and joy and hope. And we just want to say thank you to our Facebook family for joining us today. We ask you that if you're ever in the area, we invite you to come and celebrate with us, celebrate this joy and hope and peace. And as we adjourn this evening, or this afternoon, we're going to move to Fellowship Commons and continue to distribute the light and love of City of Light. And we thank you for joining us.